Hi there, Moonlane TV viewers. I'm Ewa Jozefkowicz and I'm the author of The Cooking Club Detectives. Today I want to tell you a little bit more about the story, about the characters in it, and about the inspiration behind it. So hold tight, here we go. So The Cooking Club Detectives is the story of four friends, Erin, Tanya, Phrixos and Sam, and they're brought together through their mutual love of cooking in their school's cooking club. The cooking club is initially run in their school. Later it gets moved to Skipton House, which is their local community centre. And this community centre also houses a lot of very other important clubs and services that support the community. So there's music club, there's breakfast club, there's also a daycare centre for younger children. There's all sorts being offered there. So it's a really important community hub. And the Cooking Club detectives find out that Skipton is due to be shut. Essentially, somebody has bought the building, so it's under threat of closure. All of these wonderful and really important services will have to find a new home. Who knows where that will be? Essentially, it's a bit of a shock to the whole community. So they come together. They're actually not even previously known as the Cooking Club Detectives. They formed this name in response to this closure, because they're determined to find out who's behind it, and they're really certain that they might be able to stop them. So that's their mission. So the story was inspired by a really wonderful charity. So the charity is called Magic Breakfast. I first came across their work when I was a governor in a inner city North London primary school. And I saw the huge impact of the work that they do, firsthand. So Magic Breakfast provides breakfasts for children at risk of hunger in schools across the UK. Ours was one of the first schools to actually have Magic Breakfast, which was wonderful. I think in every school the club works a little bit differently. In our school, it was a really wonderful way for children from different year groups, different classes, who might not otherwise have even come into contact with each other or known each other, to come together in the morning to have a really good hearty breakfast that would set them up for the day, so they had lots of energy to learn and didn't miss out on those really important morning lessons. But they also formed some really lasting friendships in the club. And we actually themed the club, so on different days of the week we had different activities. So we had music breakfast, for example, on one day. On another day of the week we had an art focus. So there was so much more to it than just breakfast. It was a chance to be creative, to meet new people, and generally just to have a really, really exciting start to the day. So Magic Breakfast have been around for a number of years now. Their mission is always to do themselves out of a job. So they're always hopeful that one day there won't be a reason for them to exist. But sadly, particularly with the pandemic, the past year has been so tough on many families, and actually their services are needed more than ever before. So they've inspired me to write this story with a community kind of focus at its heart. And I really hope that I can, in a small way, contribute to the amazing work that they do. Speaking of community and different groups of people coming together, I wanted to give you a little bit of a sense of the community centre in the Cooking Club Detectives, which I already mentioned was called Skipton House. So Erin actually comes across Skipton House on the very first day that she moves into a new area with her mum Lara. So the two of them move from an inner city area to a new out of town home. So this is a slightly bigger flat. They're moving into a greener area, and they don't know anyone. So on her very first day, in fact, it's the morning that she's supposed to be starting in her new school, Erin comes across Skipton House. She doesn't know at the time what the building is, but she hears this wonderful sound of people laughing, of music being played, and of a group of people just clearly having a really lovely time. And there's a boy that looks out of the window and sees her, and motions for her to come in, so essentially invites her in. But Erin is so sort of overwhelmed and scared, and didn't mean to be seen by anyone, that she runs away. She later finds out that this boy, whose name is Frixos, is actually in her class, and she feels a little bit embarrassed because she knows that that he probably remembers her from that particular day. But this is actually the first cooking club session where all four of the main characters meet. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a flavour of how that all works, and how these four very different people begin their friendship. So here we go. This is from chapter 6. On Thursday, a group of us who were keen to join cooking club gathered by the school's main entrance. There were more people than I'd expected. I counted about 20, and I could see that even Mr. Chandler was amazed at the turnout. I recognised a few kids from our year, including Frixos. He was chatting to a tall ginger-haired boy whose face was covered with dense freckles. "Hey, the runaway girl," he said, grinning at me, and I felt like running away all over again. "You should have come and joined us that morning. Why did you leg it like that?" "What did you do?" asked Tanya, meeting my eye. We walked directly behind the boys, who kept turning around to chat to us. "I was walking by Skipton the other morning," I said, "before I even knew what the building was. I heard voices and I went closer to see. And then I invited her in through the window, but she got scared and ran away," said Frixos. "Maybe she didn't want to come in through the window," said Tanya. "No, I opened the window to invite her. She could have come in through the door," he said, laughing. "Anyway, I'm Frixos and this is Sam." Tanya and I introduced ourselves. "When I first saw it, I thought this place was sort of an abandoned house," I said. "It looks pretty cool, you have to admit." "Yeah, it must have been beautiful once. It used to belong to somebody called Lady Teresa, who owned loads of land around here," said Tanya. "Apparently she left it to her grandson when she died about 20 years ago, and he lets the local council run our community centre here. It needs loads of renovation, but I don't think he has the money to pay for it. Dad said that the people who use it are mostly worried about the work not being done. If it gets much more dilapidated, it will have to be pulled down." "We've been going here since we were little," said Frixos. "Daycare, then football, then music club. It'd be awful if it were gone." "We'd have to do something to stop it shutting," said Sam, and I could hear the determination in his voice. So that's the beginning of the group, first of all getting to know each other, but also learning the history of Skipton and learning how important it is to so many different community groups, and what a tragedy it would be if it were gone. So you can see that determination there to make sure that it is kept going, and that people are able to continue benefiting from it. Hopefully, it's given you a bit of a flavour there of the setup to the mystery. But one of the other very important themes, aside from community, in the story is food. And I've actually filled the book with recipes. So Erin and her mum Lara absolutely love cooking. They're always cooking. It's always been a passion of Lara's ever since Erin was very small. So they've actually got set days of the week when they cook particular dishes. They don't have a huge amount of money. In fact, Lara has just lost her job, so money is particularly tight. So all of the recipes have always been focused around being made from very inexpensive ingredients, and actually being things that most people can make at home. Really don't require any special equipment, any special kind of cooking utensils. It's just your very, very basic kitchen appliances, a few pots and pans, and the result are some really tasty dishes. So everything from something like quite a simple dish like pancakes with different fillings, which can be really scrumptious, or homemade pizza. There are also desserts. So one of Erin's favourites and sort of a kind of celebration dish is banana bread. So yes, absolutely, filled with recipes, because I wanted to give you a flavour, no pun intended, of the types of foods that they really like to cook. And I also wanted to show, and this is another extract that I just wanted to read to you, that sometimes we was very guilty of this as well, used to think that particular dishes that, perhaps might seem a little bit fancier are actually very expensive to make in terms of buying all of the different ingredients. But actually, if you know what to buy and sort of where to look for it, it doesn't have to be expensive at all. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. And most of these things are available in local supermarkets. In fact, almost all the ingredients are. So I just wanted to give you a little example here of a situation in which the gang decide that they want to make lunch together. This is actually at Frixos's house. He's got quite a big family, and they always have lunch together at the weekend. And this is where Erin steps in and sort of says, actually, the meal that you were going to cook is on a par, or perhaps might even have been more expensive than this other dish that I'm going to suggest, which is much more fun to make, a lot healthier, and also really, really tasty. So here we go. Right, lunch, said Frixos, shutting the empty cage. I'm supposed to be buying it for the masses because Mum and Dad are away. On weekends, lunch is our main meal of the day. What are you making? I asked the boys. Can I help? I was thinking of just going to the chicken shop down the road and getting a couple of those family buckets. Either that or maybe a pizza. Why only those two options? I asked. Because I don't have that much cash, said Frixos, looking slightly embarrassed. He dug his hand into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled £10 note. What if we spend the money on ingredients and cook something? I suggested. Like what? There's no way that we would be able to afford it. Not to fill up that many people anyway. There would be 8 of us. Okay, what if I proved to you that we could? Ah, she wants a challenge, said Sam, rubbing his hands together. Frixos, let her do it. So we went to the supermarket and the boys watched in awe as I bought ingredients for dinner, which came to a total of £9.10. We laid them out in Frixos's kitchen and everyone helped me cook. Cool, so we're going to call this dish Frixos's Feast, I said, because you're our host. It's a version of fish paella, a Portuguese dish that my mum likes to make. Tanya volunteered to stir the special rice as it soaked up the hot water. When we put the seafood in, a delicious smell filled the kitchen and sent Frixos's 3 younger sisters and older brother Gabriel running in. At first, I panicked that there wouldn't be enough food for everyone, but the rice expanded to about 5 times its size in the process of cooking, and it turns out that there was loads of fish in the bag, so even when split into 8 portions, there was plenty for everyone. There we go, and then we've got the recipe here for Frixos's Feast. So hopefully it might inspire some readers to try it themselves and see what they think. So there you have it. That's a very brief insight into the Cooking Club Detectives, the different themes within it, and the really important work of Magic Breakfast. I think if I wanted to just summarise in sort of a couple of sentences what my mission for writing it is to say that I think we all benefit from having friends from so many different backgrounds, cultures, life experiences. We all have something to learn from each other, and we can all support each other thanks to our different backgrounds and experiences and collective knowledge, which is why community is so important, and which is why it's so important to always know that there's someone that you can speak to ask for help if you're struggling for whatever reason. If you don't feel that you can speak to somebody at home, then there's definitely a teacher at school that you can open up to. Perhaps there's somebody at your own local community centre that you feel is an adult that you want to sort of share any problems or challenges that you're experiencing with. So the message is that there's always someone out there that can help. And there's so much to be loved and enjoyed through collective, partaking in meals and collective cooking, which is something that I really love to do. And I really hope that if you're not already a passionate chef, I might inspire you to try some dishes which are really not that hard and can be really, really delicious. So there you have it. Hopefully you might also be tempted to tune into my second video, in which I'll show you how I make Erin's banana bread, which is saved for special occasions, but again is very, very easy and you can definitely make it at home with the help of an adult. So thank you again for listening. And yes, and if you're interested, please do tune into that video too. All the best. Bye.